Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Autastic, your comedian's guide to autism. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Kirk Smith. I'm here with my co-host and buddy
Graham K. Hello.
Just waking up.
Yeah, I am. I'm still on West Coast time. I woke up today at 1 p.m. Whoopsie daisy. But I did get up at 7:30 and worked for an hour because I was like, I couldn't fall asleep. So I did all my social media stuff, got that out of the way, posted on all the platforms.
7 a.m.
7:30 a.m. And because, you got to get that ball rolling early. It helps with the algorithm. More people will like it and see it, the comedy videos. And then I woke up and at 1 o'clock and I checked on it and it was bombing. So didn't matter. Could have got up at a regular time. Could have had a normal sleep without an hour and a half break in the middle of it. But there you go. But, yeah, good to be doing the show. It's a beautiful spring day in New York City.
It's probably 70.
I got up. I went outside and moved my car because I'm a car owner.
It's very successful man.
Car owner in New York City.
Yeah, who are you?
I'm a billionaire, man.
It's a European car, too. You hate money.
Yeah. Oh, it's already got tire pressure thing, and I gotta go figure that out. Every time I get in there's a new ding. There's a new surprise. There's a new surprise on the dashboard for me.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
We figured you like Christmas. Here's another light.
No check engine light though this time.
Ooh.
That's been off the whole time.
So what is it? Just tire pressure?
Just tire pressure.
Okay.
But I need to ask you, a real man, how to do that because I don't know what to do. What, I gotta be a mechanic?
Well, what I would do is buy a $30 air compressor on Amazon that you can plug into your cigarette lighter, and then just make sure it's topped up. That it's not a slow leak. Now, if the pressure is correct, but then it's lighting up, now you got a problem. Now you get somebody to reset those alerts. I would go to AutoZone, have them scan it and reset it.
Ugh.
Come here for your car help, guys, and autism.
I think
you shouldn't have bought a car.
No.
You did drive all the way to Canada, and it made it.
And back. Only one piece almost flew off. Anyway.
It's a great car. Beautiful car.
Yep. And things are fine. Things are okay. I had a chat with Peter the other day, and he's open to the idea of me picking him up and driving down, and then maybe my mom could fly down for her birthday.
Ooh.
And then, and fly him back. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But, you poo-poo the car, but the car could bring Peter to New York, I guess point. You hate people with autism, Kirk. Huh, interesting.
Just to be clear.
Interesting to think about that.
Seconds before you bought the car, I go, if you want something good, you should really buy a Toyota or a Honda or something like that, or a Mazda.
And I say...
If you want something cool...
Yeah, that's right.
Get this. What'd you do?
I got something cool. That's
exactly.
Me, man. I'm cool.
Cool.
I'll be young forever.
You're very cool. I got a call with JJ just seconds before I arrived here. He's doing good.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out his summer break. Try to break from what exactly? But I'd like to take him on a little day trips or somewhere. I'm trying to figure out what to do with him. I'm back in Sweden in June, end of June, and there is a small amusement park, and we're trying to figure out activities that he might like. It's all the way down to Stockholm, though, which is a good 3.5 hour drive down there. He's got a little Suzuki, which is more reliable than your car.
Okay, that hurts.
But we're trying to figure that out. And his aide was like, well, we're not really supposed to go with them, on trips. You don't have anybody that wants to go with you on this trip? I was like, not really. No, you don't know anybody wants to fly over to Sweden to go? No, I haven't,
they're like, we don't have enough people to take him to. So
Yeah.
it was you were like, it would be fun for him to go.
I think it'd be fun for him to go.
He likes car rides.
Yeah. But just something to do, just to break up the year.
Mm-hmm.
Have a little day trip to Sweden, Stockholm.
Maybe you could pay somebody to take him. I give him like $200.
With me, you mean?
No.
I'm on the trip too.
Oh, you're gonna be on the trip.
Yeah. I'm going over there end of June, and I'm gonna try to take him to this amusement park.
Oh, so why do you need an aide to come with you?
Because if we go for like a couple days, it's like sometimes he doesn't sleep, and it's like, yeah. Or we have to do a day trip.
Why does he need it? I don't. Because you don't know how you can't. I mean, you've lived with him without a specialist for years prior to that when he was more difficult to deal
when you're in
with.
your own house, but like staying in the hotel, like there's a chance he's a total meltdown in the hotel, and we get kicked out of the hotel, or just.
And you think how would an aide help that? I'm just curious.
One of us could go.
I'm not. I'm sure you're right. I'm just for the listeners.
Yeah. I will be flying over there, and a 50-year-old man with jet lag, and so dealing with a mentally disabled man who's physically very able, who refuses to sleep. There's a point where you can't stay awake. Like you can't. It's the physicality of it. Like it's not like it's a cat and you can lock him he can unlock everything. He can leave. He can walk out. He can scream. He can throw a fit. He can try different hotel door rooms or who knows. Break windows. All these things. So it's easier
What do
if
they
you have
think?
somebody else.
What do they think? Do they think he needs that?
When they go when their boss goes, well, we're not really, normally we don't have people go with him. You could do it on your own, and they both look at me like their eyes get really wide. Like, good luck with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They don't. Nobody takes him anywhere else like that. No.
He doesn't go on any one-on-one trips with anybody?
Never.
So if he was going to go on a trip to IKEA or something or whatever, an apple orchard in the Suzuki, the reliable Suzuki.
I meant overnight. He never goes.
Okay.
Yeah. But even the IKEA, some of the ladies won't do it. Because if he doesn't listen, what do you do? He's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And sometimes he doesn't listen.
It's like owning a bear.
Or the bear owning you.
Yeah. Mike Racine had a good joke about that.
Mike Racine is a comic we had on episode 6 or something.
Yeah, he's got a brother with autism like me. And he's like, when he goes home, his parents are like, because his brother still lives with his parents. And he'll go home and his parents will be like, there's chips in the car.
Yeah, they whisper,
The car trunk. There's chips.
Yeah.
Because they can't keep it in the house.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like we live with a bear. Gotta go eat chips in the car.
It's a good bit. Yeah. And I forget the rest of the bit, but he does something about like bear claws or something, some wordplay thing about pastries, I think, if I remember right. Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
I don't know. Oh, we got a call from Pete.
Ooh.
Oh. Hey, Pete. Hey, Ernie.
Hey, Bert.
How's it going?
Beep, beep.
Beep, 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 beep. Hey, look, I'm doing my podcast radio show right now. Do you have anything you want to say to the listeners?
Well, I have a good update. I just played some Nintendo Switch for today.
Yes, we were discussing that because we bought it for him and he hadn't been playing it because he's been busy. And then I suggested it yesterday to play the Nintendo Switch, and now he's playing it. Awesome. Thanks, Pete.
Yes.
And what games did you play?
I played Crash Bandicoot today.
Yes. Awesome. I thought you'd like that game. Anything else you want to say? How's your day going? Did you work today?
Yes, and I completed my 98th day of work this morning.
98th day. It's 2 more and you're at 100.
I have my 99th one tomorrow morning, then next week 100.
Right. And then are you going to keep counting after 100?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I only kept count when I first began to work at the Heart and Crown pub.
Good. And how's it going there? Are you doing better at not chit-chatting?
I think I did lots of work, and I don't think anybody saw or heard me chit-chat too much.
Very good. Thank you for the update. Can I call you back after my show?
Just one more thing, I did play a bit of Game Boy Advance after Nintendo Switch.
Oh, you went back to the old one. Good. Okay. You like that better?
Well, it's okay, but I like to play a bit of both. Game Boy Advance, Sega, and then maybe Nintendo Switch once in a while.
Makes
Mix
sense.
up a bit.
Yeah, mix it up a bit. That's good.
I don't want to keep playing the same game system like I did when I used to play the same game at Melvin Avenue.
That's right. All right, Pete. I love you, buddy.
Call back when you're done.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I love the call back when you're done.
Yeah.
Like when you're done with whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good man.
So remind our listeners about the game situation.
Oh, I bought him a expensive, Nintendo newer game system because he's playing the old game from like 15 years ago. And we did research on what's better for people like that. I think we even asked our listeners, and people wrote in some suggestions, and general consensus that that Nintendo Switch was the game system for him. So we bought him a whole new system, bought him also games to go with it, curating the games, figuring out what games were more like Super Mario he would understand, not like he's going to go on a Zelda mission, like I find that really confusing. He's not going to like it. So anyway, Crash Bandicoot, and he likes it, and he's playing it. You just got to remind him to do it, because if he doesn't have a little push, he'll just play the same thing over and over and over again, which he doesn't realize it's not. You're like, why? If he's happy, let him do it. Who cares? I understand that. But I think that he stops playing the old games. He'll be like, I'm going to give it a 6-month rest. And then he's got nothing. And he gets bored of the Star Wars movies he watches over and over again, so he gives those like a year rest.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's in the middle of those rests? It's like you have to push through and play a new game, watch a new movie.
More interests.
Just watch a new thing. And it's just really hard to get him into a new thing. I don't know. We've talked about this in the past. Why? People with autism, they're way more malleable and open to new things when they're 12, 10, and as soon as they hit like 16, they do not want. They just want to. That's it. It's closed. Doors closed. No more new things. So
it's kind of like us with music.
It's funny. It might be related. Who knows? But I if like music, I push myself to like listen to newer stuff, and then after you hear it 3 times, you're like, oh, this is pretty good. So I think he liked it, but he obviously went back to Sega Genesis after, which is from 1994.
Do they even make that anymore?
Well, they reissue it.
Okay.
And so it's like this little tiny game system with like 100 games on it from 1989, 1992 kind of thing.
He's got his money worth out of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but he only plays the 2 games he knows on there.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So
we've tried to get
JJ
to do the games thing. He just doesn't ever seem interested at all. But maybe we'll keep trying.
It's tough. Games are confusing. I played.
I feel like he sees it and goes, "What's the point? What are we doing?"
Yeah, it's a cartoon I can control.
Yeah.
Do it for me. Why would I want to work?
Yeah.
Somehow that's how I feel about video games. I'm like, why do I want to work?
Yeah.
You do it.
You know how it goes. Finish it.
Yeah. Like all those like Zelda games. It's like, oh, it's like you're in the movie. I'm like, I don't want to be in the movie.
I
I gotta work.
The movie.
It's stressful. That character is stressed out. I don't want to be stressed.
I've never played Zelda. Sometimes I think we're the same age, and then you say something, I'm like, I've never done that. And then I also grew up in Ecuador. Yeah, no video games.
Yeah. You just played that game with like a tire and a stick.
You play the thing where you try to balance to jump up a little thing on a stick, or you try to roll a wheel with a little stick.
Oh, you have. That was a joke. But you genuinely have. Cool.
El Salvador, 1982. It's fantastic.
Wow.
There's something else.
Wow.
We played Count the Dead Bodies on the Road. I guess you don't play that when you're growing up, do you?
That explains the dead eyes you have.
You think I recycled these?
No, I mean, just you've seen stuff.
Just to look off into space.
Yeah, you're there's like a toughness to you. You're such like a sweet guy. You look like you
I'm
have
pretty sweet.
You have a suburban home, and
without the home.
And you've seen some stuff.
So there's a park. Change the subject back that I'm trying to get him to go to. We'll see. And it's because it's a 3.5 hour drive, and with him nothing's quick. So it'll be 4 hours each way. So if we left at 8 in the morning, we get there at noon, and we stay till 5, and then we drive back. Get back. It's a long day, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on with him. And I have a new joke about this, but like when we go out, if one of us has to go to the bathroom. We both have to go to the bathroom. We both have to go to the stall. He needs help. And if I need to go take care of how he can't, he'll just wander off. He'll just leave, and I'm in the toilet. So,
Yeah.
So everything's like a production.
Yeah, man.
You know? And then when you buy food, he doesn't really talk. He'll point at something, and then sometimes he'll look at it, like, what's something else? Well, in Sweden, everything's $9 or 10. A Big Mac's $11. So I'm not buying 4 things so you can figure out what you want. Tell me exactly what you want. So everything's like a production with him. Yeah.
What about taking the train?
We could take the train, but then the way the train works, and I'm sure you know this, but it only works. Sweden's the size of California, so unless it's end to end, that last cab ride from the train station to the event could be $40. So it's like Sweden's an expensive place. But we might do the train.
Yeah, you could do the train.
We might do the train.
What about like a weed edible? Calm him down a bit.
Yeah, I mean he's on a very light dosage of an antipsychotic. Well, the other thing is, like we talked about this, I know, a few times.
Is that immoral, giving him a weed edible? I mean, how's that any different than antipsychotic?
No, I'm saying he actually does take an antipsychotic.
No, I know. So I'm just trying to think. Like, I'm just mulling it over in my own head. Like, how is it less immoral than an antipsychotic, I guess? But
well, to me, in my mind, the antipsychotic is prescribed by a doctor who prescribes it for another 2,000 people. So it's not like we're not just testing it.
Yeah.
It's already, and I had that conversation with him when we got the prescription. He's like, first of all, it's a very light dose. And then I was like, and I've said this before on the podcast, but it's like, well, what if he hears voices? Like, well, I prescribed for like 2,000 people. You have? Yeah. Never had any problems. Oh, okay. Made you feel better.
Yeah. You should ask the doctor about a weed edible. CBD, or just one with THC in it.
THC. I said the wrong letters.
Well, CBD is the weed edible without the high feeling. It makes you calm.
Right? It calms you down.
I guess this CBD one calms you down without feeling high. That's why it's popular.
I still need him to be able to focus to do his work.
Yeah. But he might, you're not going to get him blitzed. You give him like a little low dosage and he just feels calm, but calm. Ask the doctor. I'm sure there's medical marijuana over there.
That's probably another thing to ask the doctor.
Yeah. And it's natural, more so than a pill of something. Anyway, something to ask a doctor about. I'm just a guy, obviously. I don't really smoke weed that much myself.
I thought you were going to say, I'm just a guy who loves CBD.
No, I don't. Like, truly, like, I have weed at my house for guests.
That's very generous and thoughtful.
Yeah.
You want some coffee, weed, ecstasy?
Yeah. I need coffee. That's what I need. I don't need to fall asleep.
I didn't have coffee because I'm like, I'll eat coffee at Graham's, and then one day he doesn't have coffee.
I know. I'm sorry. I need to go grocery shopping. I've been on the road for 2 weeks.
Same. I get it. Same.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have any oat milk either. So I was like, I'll just get it at Graham's.
My oat milk is also a little chunky. I looked at the date. It's
nice.
June, so it should be okay.
That's in 3 weeks.
I had it yesterday. I'm still okay. Anyway,
should we do the news?
We should do in what time? How much time? We should do in the news. Yep.
Are we doing mine or yours?
Do yours.
All right. We always have a couple options.
We have a news off.
And it's whoever wants to read less.
Yeah. I read. Yeah.
Concedes. This is in the Detroit Free Press. When autism isn't diagnosed until adulthood, it takes a mental crisis to get diagnosed. Which honestly kind of makes sense.
Yep. Samesies for me.
Yeah. It wasn't until Ashley Marchuk started experiencing frequent anxiety attacks at work almost daily that she started to suspect she might be autistic. Working at Starbucks, she was bombarded with loud noises such as the whirl of coffee machines, the music playing, and conversations among customers. The sensory overload was too much. The anxiety attacks, leaving her sweaty and panicked, wouldn't stop. Marchuk took a leave of absence to figure out what was going on. At 31 years old, she was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. She realized that her anxiety attacks were a symptom of sensory issues related to autism, she said. It's basically a mental crisis to get you diagnosed, said Marchuk, now 32. And that's how it was with me, unfortunately. having these anxiety attacks for months. While autism is traditionally associated with diagnosis in childhood, more and more adults on the social media. Very sorry.
We don't have a cough button.
No,
We don't have that kind of technology.
we can cut that if you want.
No, keep it in.
More adults on social media say they are autistic, although data on adult diagnosis in the United States does not appear to exist. Women and people of color have often been overlooked in diagnosis and in stereotypical depictions of autism in media, say advocates and autistic adults. And those misdiagnoses have left some for decades without the help in the higher education or the workplace. Willow Moon, 27, of Kalamazoo, still wonders why his autism went missed through childhood, even though he showed some signs socially. I was very lonely. It makes me wonder why it wasn't noticed. Why some go without a diagnosis. Definitions of autism have evolved significantly over the past several decades, with more research into the conditions and the elimination of Asperger's syndrome from the diagnostic manual and medical professional use. Toby Keel, a clinical psychologist in Huntington Woods, started working with children, but most recently has begun evaluating adults with autism spectrum disorder. In many cases, she has evaluated adults who probably had fewer support needs as children and flew under the radar until they're older. Our conceptualization of autism really was geared towards more of the population that had higher support needs, she says. This idea that adults who have functioned incredibly well didn't align with our idea, but adults diagnosed past childhood said they wish they'd known sooner because it would have been a better understanding of social issues. For example, 23-year-old Leah Wathen spent much of her life masking autistic traits. She said, feeling uncomfortable in social circumstances, never knowing why. Masking autistic traits can be exhausting, she and others have said. Research suggests they may be linked to anxiety. In school, Walton would try to mirror her peers to fit in, taking on personality traits that were not her own. I just kind of felt disconnected. Autism may have been missed in adults due to stereotypes about behavior, particularly in black children. Carmine Proctor, founder of The Color of Autism, a natural non-profit based in Metro Detroit dedicated to assisting black families with autistic children, said that behavioral issues in black children are often labeled as quote-unquote problems in schools, not as red flags as people with autism. That's very interesting. We have a black child, and then they exhibit certain behaviors, and immediately that child is labeled as an oppositional defiant. But in a white child, that same behavior will get an autism diagnosis or referral to an autism evaluation. That's very interesting. However, the demographics of children diagnosed with autism are shifting according to the most recent data available from the Centers for Disease Control. In 2020, a higher percentage of black, Latino, and Asian 8-year-olds than white 8-year-olds was diagnosed. The data showed that it could indicate the diagnosis is becoming more inclusive. How long is this thing? Oh boy. Okay, here we go. We're going to do it. It's great. How parents can advocate at school. While parents can conduct an evaluation to determine whether a student is eligible for special education services, Proctor also recommends an outside diagnosis through medical or mental health providers. Her organization helps train parents and to become strong advocates for their children. You have to have an informed parent for them to be an advocate for their child, she said. The Michigan Alliance for Families recommends parents putting into writing their requests for schools and evaluations, asking for an evaluation early on as issues such as behavior compliance from teachers arise. Do not wait until things are horrible, said Michelle Driscoll, policy coordinator for the Michigan Alliance for Families. We have conversations with the teachers or the administrator and put the request in writing. It's not required, but just to document what concerns are. Making the request for a comprehensive initial evaluation for eligibility for special education services. But identifying autism sooner comes down to public policy. Brian Calley, a former Michigan lieutenant governor and vice chairman of the Autism Alliance for Michigan Board of Directors, said identification will expand as early as childhood programs expand in the state. And he said pediatricians are conducting more developmental screenings, but noted that such screenings won't help vulnerable populations who can't regularly go to the pediatrician's office. Callie, who's the father of a child with autism, said the society needs to reduce stigma around the condition. He remembers feeling more unsure about seeking the diagnosis at first for his child, fearing that the diagnosis could mean. Quote, there's still some that what happens where people might notice that there's issues, challenges, problems, delays, are not ready to seek a diagnosis because of the social stigma, he said. For Wathen, The benefits of a diagnosis far outweigh any discomfort, she said. She's actively working to raise awareness against the stigma that comes from being neurodivergent. There's so much education that needs to happen in terms of us getting to a place where people can actually understand neurodivergent people and see them as different rather than something inherently less than. Woo, we did it, man.
Wow, that wasn't that long.
3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm counting paragraphs.
7 pages. 8, 9.
Anyway, he's
10,
old, so his font's on 100.
11. You think that's a big font?
I don't know.
What do you think? You know I was going to ask that.
Yeah. I don't know. We've talked about all that before, but I think it's good just to reiterate that. And a lot of the times, it's funny to me. Like, I wonder why that is. It's just pure racism that they diagnose. They don't diagnose black children, or like.
Well, I mean, the lead for this article is a white lady, and she didn't figure it out until she's an adult. So I think that was a subcategory. But yeah, that's a whole different issue, right? That people are going to assume a black little boy who's violent is violent because he's antisocial versus he has autism.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much just racism. I mean,
Yeah, it seems like it.
I don't think it's much of a mystery. But the other part, I do feel like if you think you might, and you're an adult, by adult I mean over 21, I mean, there's no harm in going down and talking to somebody about it, having them ask you some questions to see if that's true. If you do fit the conditions to have autism, for me it would be.
It's probably like a lot. Also probably has a lot to do with like less education in groups of people that historically have less money, have less access to education and awareness about it,
and doctors,
and are kept out of the loop.
Yeah.
Don't know to look for it and advocate for their own children.
And I do think that's the state sometimes does that on purpose.
Yeah.
They make it hard so that a certain percentage of people give up.
Yeah.
And they can save money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've talked about this before. But you pay for it one way or another. You know.
You do. You pay for it one way or another.
Yeah.
Like, on the back end with like having to move to the suburbs and live behind a wall.
Yeah, hire private security.
Yeah. Or
you can't ride the train anymore.
Or you live in Sweden, you have an $11 Big Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
you can't win.
You got 4 round trip flights a year for 10 hours.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Did we do it? Where are you at this
We haven't
week,
solved any problems.
No, but I do think we were saying if you think you might, then definitely look into it.
Yeah, I mean,
think it's
I've had
downside to
people
that.
contact me and been like, I think I have autism. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I'm 23. And then they'll go get evaluated and be like, wow, it really would have helped.
Well, I
It
think
really would have
also-
helped me, even get funding and stuff. Like, you probably get,
Not even
scholarships in college and stuff.
That too. But even your self-esteem, you're like, there's nothing, there's nothing to feel embarrassed about. This area of my life is hard for me. It's hard for me to do this because I have autism. Oh, where's the sneeze button now?
Oh, dang.
Not so confident. Where are you at this month, bud?
Well, on May 18th, I'm going to be doing another one of my solo shows. My brother has autism
Boom.
at QED Theater in Queens, New York. Yeah, so you can check that out. Come see me. I'm really proud of this show. If you live in the New York area, that is the 18th of May at QED Theater. Give it a goog. And then I'm going to be opening for Nate Bargatze. I'm going to be at, guys, if you're in Colorado, get your tickets for Nate Bargatze. I'll be doing Red Rocks in 2 weeks on the 24th. That's a huge, giant amphitheater. I'm very excited for that. Yeah, then I'm going to be taking some time off. I'm going to be going to Costa Rica for a bachelor party. Hello. June, my time. And then I'm going to be coming to Ottawa, actually, doing some shows on the let me see, in July. I think the 28th, but I cannot remember. And it's not in my calendar because I'm bad at my job. But anyway, look for those dates. Follow me on Instagram. That's all.
Guys, add me on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. I'd really appreciate it. Kirk Smith Comedy. Share my little videos. I'm trying to post 3 days a week. Let's do this. We can do this. I'm saying this out loud so that I'll be accountable and make myself do it. That's it, guys. Have a great week. You can do it.